Hi, all my spooky readers. We're doing a take 2 on this video. Actually, this is probably like take 3 at this point. So we're just going to try and stick to things and get to the point. This book recommendation is for Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson. This story uses an ancient Irish myth as a catalyst for telling the rest of the story. We have a few different characters whose point of views we get into, and we have essentially 2 different timelines that we are dealing with, and we move in and out of in a non-linear fashion. We start with Atane, who is going to a party her sister invites her to. They live in Dublin, but this party is seems to be in a more rural area, somewhere outside of Dublin. And she goes to the party, her boyfriend's there, and he actually proposes to her. And she's so happy, she's thrilled, but she has to get back home. And Atane and Kate, that's her sister, their mother is very strict, and they seem to have a really unusual relationship with their mom. And particularly Atane just doesn't really like to rock the boat with her mom. So she's going to drive back even though it's very late at night. As she's driving home, some interesting things start to happen, and eventually she comes across a corpse in the road. For whatever reason, she decides to pick up this corpse, put it in her car, and drives to a farmhouse where she's going to try and get help, and some pretty frightening things ensue. We then eventually jump into the late 90s, early 2000s, and we have Betty, who meets Aisling and develops a really big crush on Aisling. We eventually find out how these 2 stories connect. I give this book about a 4.5. One, it is proper scary. This is the first book I've read so far and recommended that legitimately was creepy for me, to the point where you're reading the book and you're having this very creepy experience, but then it just stays with you, it lingers, and you think on it, especially late at night. And I really enjoyed that. I finally was getting something that was that creepy. What was interesting to me is that I'm not quite sure some of the points of views that we get into and how they really help the narrative. I think you could have done things differently and in a more concise and to the point way with different characters, and it would not have changed the book. So getting into the girlfriend's point of view, Betty, is a very interesting choice to me. Had I been the editor, I would have maybe suggested something different, but here we are. And I also think that some of the events that happen kind of with Betty and her girlfriend Aisling start to lose the thread a little bit. Not boring by any means, but at times you almost feel like, am I reading a different book? And that makes it sound not so fantastic. It's I enjoyed everything that was written. I just think sometimes the pieces didn't go together as seamlessly as maybe they could have. And I don't really feel like there was anything being done to make this feel jarring or disjointed in a way to bring an impact to the narrative. I just kind of feel like it just was probably intended for character development, which is obviously very important, but just for me didn't fully connect with the overall story. Nonetheless, when we kind of get back into the main story and really find out what's going on and how these characters are all connected, this really is a wonderful, creepy, spooky Halloween story to read for this time of year. And it definitely has a really great conclusion. So I highly recommend this book, and for those of you who are really looking for that creep factor, I would definitely check this book out. I think also if you're very interested in mythology, in particular Irish mythology, this is definitely going to have it for you. The fans are blowing around my bangs. As we know, my bangs just, God. Okay, here we go. Anyway, but I think you're going to get a lot out of this book. And the only reason I didn't give it a 5-star is just because some of those narrative choices and sort of plot choices that for me just didn't make the book at times fully feel connected. But nonetheless, I would highly recommend this. I think it's definitely worth reading, and if you want that creep factor, you really like the idea of the mythology involved, definitely check out Knock Knock Open Wide by Neil Sharpson. I hope everyone is having a great spooky season. I hope you have your Halloween costumes by now, and I look forward to giving you the next book recommendation, which hopefully will be coming out soon.